Hello, this is Aloisa with Math Leopard. I want to thank you for sticking with me this far into the Planetary Magic Square series. My goal is to reward your dedication with illumination insofar as I am able, and thereby share with you the means by which to see things heretofore hidden in plain sight. Mercury is the second to last in line of the 7 planets of antiquity, and corresponds to Wednesday. His symbol is a crescent, circle, and cross, corresponding to spirit, soul, and matter, respectively. The placement of these symbols indicates the importance of intellect over the material. As Hermes, Mercury displays the symbol of the caduceus or Ankh, about which the Ida and Pingala intertwine. Moving forward with the pattern of flanking the signs of the precedent planet, Mercury is ruling planet to both Virgo and Gemini. Since Venus was a 7x7 magic square, we increase one integer for Mercury to an 8x8 magic square. Up until this point, I showed you how to construct the magic square and only thereafter find the character or sigil of that square. Since you've stayed with me throughout these videos, I will show you the true means by which to construct these squares, by first consulting the character of the planet. To that end, we will begin by simply filling in the square with counting numbers 1 through 64, of course in Hebrew reading direction, 1 through 8, 9 through 16, 17 through 24, 25 through 32, 33 through 40, 41 through 48, 49 through 56, and finally 57 through 64. Now let's consider the shape of the character of Mercury and superimpose that over our square. This shape has both rotational and reflectional symmetry. To illustrate this, let's take 3 segments of the sigil that are not flanked by terminal circles, seen here by the pink circle and both green and orange line segments. I'm going to temporarily erase the other numbers so you understand the process by which the final square is achieved. We take as our first axis of reflection one of the main diagonals. This will act as a mirror about which we now place our indicated numbers, along with their respective colors to more easily understand. Note how the numbers 20 and 2 were closest to the mirror and remain so on the opposite side. Hence, this is not a static translation, but a genuine reflection. To obtain the final position, a rotational symmetry, or a fixed rotation of 180 degrees about a fixed point, we must reflect yet again across a perpendicular to the first axis. In doing so, we see how these 2 reflections result in rotational symmetry about the center of the 3 figures we began with. Going back to the original square, I will keep the final position highlighted. We know that there are numbers contained within the terminal points. These numbers have rotational symmetry too, hence they end up where our original numbers began, corresponding to their same colors, which amounts to rotating them through half a circle. We do the same process along the horizontal, in that the circles in blue will swap their entries in a rotational symmetry, and those entries in yellow and pink will follow suit. What results is the magic square for Mercury, a far easier construction by analysis of the sigil than the lumbering method of construction of squares of even numbered dimensions that are divisible by 4 that we've done thus far. As with all magic squares, the sum of the row, column, and diagonal entries is congruent, in this case summing to 260. And the number associated with the spirit or daemon of Mercury is the sum of the row sums, being 2080. As with Venus, the size of Mercury prohibits the simultaneous inclusion of both Hebrew and Arabic numerals, so let's clear the entries first. 1 through 8 corresponds to Aleph through Chet. 9 through 16 corresponds to Chet through Chet Zayin, or 9 and 7. 17 through 24 corresponds to Yod Zayin through Kaf Dalet. 25 through 32 corresponds to Kaf Hey through Lamed Bet. 33 through 40 corresponds to Lamed Gimel through Mem. 41 through 48 corresponds to Mem Aleph through Mem Chet. 49 through 56 corresponds to Mem Chet through Nun Vav. And finally, 57 through 64 corresponds to Nun Zayin through Samach Dalet. Until now, the inclusion of Hebrew within the box wasn't directly addressed, but with Mercury, this mystery is solved. Let's begin with the creation of the sigil for Tiriel, the intelligence of Mercury, given in Hebrew by the letters Chet, Yod, Resh, Yod, Aleph, and Lamed. Beginning with Lamed, we use his value of 30 as our beginning position. Now I'm going to take both Aleph and Yod, or Yod Aleph, as one unit, namely 11. Hence I will go to the number Yod Aleph, or 11, seen in red on the square, but will give the sigil 2 bumps to indicate the 2 component letters thereof. Next we continue with Resh, which has a value of 200, so we use 20 in its place. Then add to that Yod, which goes to 10, and finally Chet, which has a value of 9. When we sum this up, we arrive at 260, the sum of each row, column, or diagonal entries. Now let's revert back to 11 in place of Yod Aleph on the square, and unlock the sigil for Tef Tar Tharath, the Spirit of Mercury. In Hebrew, this name is written with Tau, Pe, Tau, Resh, Tau, where Tau or Tav, with a value of 400, uses 40 in each instance, and Resh, with a value of 200, uses 20 in each instance. Note that we cycle back and forth from 40 to 20 with 5 traversals, so we leave room so that the sigil can illustrate this. We then add the value of Pe, which is 50, so we use 5, and finally back to Tau, indicated at 40. The sum of this spirit is 2080, the number of Mercury. These symbols are to be etched on the material of the planet they represent, along with the corresponding magic square. In Mercury's case, the etching should be done on silver, tin, or brass, and will confer upon the recipient memory and understanding when used with good intentions. Whatever we unleash on the world comes back to us threefold. Kawe Dewinator. The moon is on the horizon. Please subscribe to be notified when it's published. Thanks for staying with me this far, and I'll see you next time.